I had ChatGPT ask me 10 questions about owning a sports and Pokemon card retail business, and these are the questions they asked. I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea what to expect when I asked ChatGPT to ask me 10 random questions about owning a sports and Pokemon card retail brick and mortar business, but here we are, and I'm very excited to dive into it with you guys because there will be a lot of light shed here in today's video. For a lot of people wondering how I do it, for those that may want to open their own business themselves. So hopefully this video serves beneficial one way or the other. But without further ado, let's dive into number one, and that's target audience. Who are your primary customers and how do you plan to attract them to your store? Honestly, this was something that was very challenging when I first opened up, when I had no following, when I had no recognition to the name. However, here we are a few years later. I rely on social media. I rely on word of mouth. I rely on going to card shows, the YouTube channel that you're watching this video on. So a lot of internet related things is something that I rely on. Obviously, word of mouth is not internet related. That's just you talking to other collectors, your friends, or whoever it may be. I do believe word of mouth is very, very powerful, despite social media being a monster powerhouse here in 2024. However, with a mix and combination of all of those, YouTube, social media, word of mouth, card shows, literally all of it, I do believe it helps me attract my target audience. Of course, there's going to be people that just generally type in card shows near me. Murph's Card Town's going to pop up. So there's even means of me not even controlling how people find the shop, but it's definitely very beneficial. For those that may be new, social media, just pumping out content, marketing at card shows, obviously having some kind of social media presence, business cards, flyers, just something to get the name out there so people are talking about you, I think is very, very important, especially when starting off. Number two, location. What factors influence your choice of location for the shop? Are there specific demographics in the area that align with your business? Honestly, there's no specific demographics in this area that align with my business. I would like to say age, but there's a lot of young collectors, a lot of old collectors. I would say gender, but there's a lot of girls and women that do collect, honestly. Surprisingly, you say that 5 years ago, and people would be like, yeah, sports cards are just guys that are older than 50, which was true back 5 years ago. Here in 2024, that's not the case. It's a much more diverse hobby, a much more diverse business, and it's exciting. It's very, very exciting, again, to see boys, girls, men, women, older, younger, all of it. It's very, very nice to see. What factors influence my choice of location for the shop? Honestly, people do ask me that here at the shop. This is just where the building was available for sale. I mean, I didn't choose Gloucester specifically. It's a nice area. I've gotten to know it. People getting to know me here in the area, but honestly, I did not choose it. It's just where the building was located. Number three, inventory. How will you decide which products to stock? Will you focus on new releases, vintage items, or a mix of both? This is a very interesting question because when I first opened, I wanted to try to carry anything and everything sports related. No Pokemon, no TCG, no nothing. And I wanted to be a sports card shop, plain and simple, that's it. However, people kept asking me for more and more Pokemon, and I kept saying no, and I stopped wanting to say no to them. So I dabbled with it, and arguably it's one of the best sellers, if not the second best seller, maybe behind football. This just depends on the time of year, honestly. They're both 1A and 1B. However, now I cater to what my customers want. They want baseball, basketball, football, and Pokemon. Those are pretty much the big four. I carry Lorcana boosters and troves on releases, but once they go, they kind of go. Back in Johnson, nobody wanted a hockey card even when the Bruins were breaking regular season records. That was a red flag to me, so I stopped carrying hockey products. Plus, some guy, I think, left sent me was it an email or was it a 1-star review? I forget what it was, saying how I was $15 overpriced online. However, Upper Deck's website had the same box for the same price that I had it. He was able to find it cheaper on eBay, but can't make everybody happy, right? So, but ultimately, I try to carry what my customers want. If they don't want it, I'm not going to carry it. I would love to carry a little bit of everything, and I like to still think I do. Some UFC blasters, some soccer blasters, again, Lorcana, but the niche stuff, I mean, I just started carrying Star Wars stuff, maybe because I'm a Star Wars fan, but not because people are asking for it. So there are some lessons to be learned, and there's going to be mistakes made when you're buying a lot of inventory. Like when I first got into Pokemon, it was doing well, but then I wanted to branch into other TCG. So I got some anime TCG products and they flopped. So you're going to live and learn a little bit, but ultimately cater to what your customers want with a dabbling splash of everything else, I think would be a good advice that I like to portray there. Pricing strategy. Number 4, pricing strategy. What approach will you take to pricing your cards and collectibles? How will you stay competitive with online retailers? Honestly, I could give 2 flying Fs about online retailers. I really could. I price my products based off of the manufacturer's website. So whatever Topps Fanatics is charging for a hobby box of whatever Panini's charging for a box of whatever. That's just my rule of thumb. And I love to make this joke. A briefcase of flawless football, basketball, whatever. Let's just say it's a $5,000 briefcase, right? If someone puts it on eBay, let's say I even put it up on eBay for $500, brand new, sealed, wrapped up and everything, for $500, does that mean it's a $500 briefcase? And it sells. Does that mean all of the briefcases of flawless should be $500 because that's what the last comp was? That's what the market is? No, that's just one outlying sale. And I think this is a conversation I'd like to dive into in another video, is how to be aware of, look out for, and avoid outlier sales. Whether they're low outlier sales or even high outlier sales. There are outlier sales, and I think that's another video I'd like to make. But however, that doesn't mean briefcase, flawless football, basketball, whatever, is $500 a briefcase. No, that's just one sale. That doesn't determine the market. What should determine the market is manufacturer sales retail price and the manufacturer's price. If I throw up a $2,000 box on eBay for $500 so I could pay the electric bill or to pay car payment or whatever it may be, that's on me. That's me choosing to fire sale the product. That's not a portrayal of the current market. So that's a big thing that people need to kind of understand when it comes to the sealed stuff. When it comes to the individual, the single cards, sure, you can go based off of eBay just because of a lot more volatility, and a card is only worth what someone's willing to pay for, because the individual cards, they don't really have a MSRP, so to speak, on that. But that's my approach to it. When it comes to the retail stuff, let me dabble on that real quick. When it comes to the retail products like blaster boxes, mega boxes, I price those at MSRP price. Whatever you can find at the big box stores, you will find it here in Murph's Card Town. So there's no reason to go to Walmart or Target, even though Walmart charges more than MSRP these days. But you can definitely find it here. Even ETBs are $49.99 at Target. You can buy them here for $49.99 just the same. Number 5, store layout. How do you envision the layout of your shop? Will you have areas for events or trading, or will it primarily be for retail? This is something that I always want to change. Always want to change the store layout. Why? I don't know. I just always want to. I like it. I love it, but I'm not in love with the layout. And I love the current layout of the shop right now, but I'm actually, funny enough, trying to come up with ways to maybe dabble and change and maybe add another case or 2. Who knows? So I'm always envisioning a new layout for the shop. Always. However, for people that may be new, you should definitely try to envision a layout for your space. You definitely should. I remember when I was first looking for a space to lease, way back in 2020, I got the measurements from the first space that I looked at in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Got all the measurements, and then I shrunk it to scale to fit in my living room, this open floor in my living room, and I used masking tape, to tape the outside and then to tape where walls would go, and that would be the shop layout space. And then what I did is I taped, all right, this is where I want a case to go. This is where I want a case to go. And I was trying to envision it on my living room floor. My living room floor was literally covered in masking tape for 2-3 weeks when I was trying to envision to see if this was going to work. And then I was like, all right, we're not going to do the space. I ripped it all up. And then I found the place in Johnston. I did the same exact thing. I took the measurements, put it to scale, shrunk it down, taped it off in my living room. And I was like, this looks pretty good. I think this is going to work. So definitely envision your store layout, because you don't want to move into a space and be like, holy crap, nothing fits. I have too much space, whatever the case may be. You definitely want to be prepared when it comes to that. Will you have areas for events, trading, or primarily be retail? So for me, the perimeter, I guess, would be the retail. You got the cases and the expensive stuff, and you got another case, and you got supplies and retail. Then you got blaster boxes and dollar bins on the outside. And then you got a nice island in the middle full of dollar bins as well. Trading events, obviously you guys know I hosted tons of trade nights, definitely at the old location, not many here at the new location. Scheduling, moving, obviously the birth of baby Murph coming up, or maybe by the time you guys are seeing this video already has happened. So scheduling for me personally has been a little complicated. However, it's definitely something I want to dabble back into, and we do have the space here for it. If I do add more inventory, or if I change the layout, it could kind of hinder the amount of open space that the shop has to offer. However, I don't want that to be a deterrent on not hosting future events. But for those that are watching, maybe looking to open a card shop, definitely look to consider hosting events, whether that's trade nights, rip nights, break nights, birthday parties, whatever it may be. Card shows, even if you got a big enough space, definitely look to host and try to have tournaments for TCG players. That's a big one. That's something that I would love to do, but I very hesitant. Don't know if I have the space for it, kind of going back and forth on it. But these are tons of things you need to consider when you're laying out the store with the cases and the shelving and cubbies, whatever it may be. We're at the halfway mark, guys, and if you haven't already, please smash the thumbs up button if you're getting some valuable information out of this video. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that giant red subscribe button. It is so free to you. It's unbelievable how free it is to you, but it's also meaningful to me. If you have any questions at any point during this video, definitely drop them down below. If you want me to elaborate on anything that I'm talking about, or if you have further questions you want to ask me personally, leave those down in the comment section. I'd love to read and reply to any and all comments. So again, guys, smash the thumbs up button if you got to this point. Comment down below, subscribe to the channel, check out the channel membership program, and let's get on with the second half of this video. Number 6, marketing. What marketing strategies do you plan to use to promote your shop? Will you utilize social media, local events, or partnerships with gaming groups? This really is a great one that circles back to number 1, the target audience. How will you utilize social media? You have to utilize it. Social media is so free and such a resourceful tool that anyone that's not using it, I don't care who you are or how old you are or what you do, what hobby or business you're in, you have to be on social media. I think that is so crucial here in 2024. It's probably crucial 3-4 years ago, 5, almost 10 years ago. How free it is the best, in my opinion, the best marketing that isn't paid for. Now, I don't even know if some paid advertisements would be worth or be more valuable than social media, but social media, my God, it's free. It's free. Now, of course, people need to follow you or find you on social media, but sometimes if you can just share or get someone to share your post or get a few people to follow you, it's great. It really is. Hopefully that concept of how great it is definitely taken. Local events, card shows, a big one. Partnerships, maybe you want to partner with another card shop. Maybe you want to partner with an influencer. Maybe you want to partner with another collector or a breaker or a wholesaler even. I mean, there's so many different partnerships you can find in this hobby just because of the amount of businesses that have sprouted and grown over the last 4 or 5 years in this hobby. So I think it's definitely good to have some kind of partnership if able, and if it's mutually beneficial as well. Of course, you want to get just your name out there. That's super important. But maybe, especially if you're new, kind of getting tagged along or carried along a little bit early on definitely would not be a bad idea, again, to get the name out there. But social media, card shows, gaming groups, I'm not all too familiar on. Maybe groups on Facebook in general. Again, but that circles back to social media. But other marketing strategies, word of mouth. YouTube even, I think it is pretty big. If you're shipping anything out, any packages out, throw a business card, throw a sticker in there. I mean, it should not be rocket science to market. It really shouldn't. And it shouldn't cost you that much either. Number 7, events and community. How will you foster a sense of community among your customers? Will you host tournaments, trade nights, or other events? Trade nights, big one. Card shows, you could even host a card show. Maybe you can host like a charity event, free throws or whatever it may be, some kind of 3-point contest, or maybe it's a free pack if you make a donation, something like that. Get in the community. I mean, I sponsored a Little League baseball team a couple years ago. That was super awesome. I don't really think I saw a return on that investment, but it does not matter. However, some of these business things should be considered without a doubt. But definitely try to get your name out there in the community. I mean, even though I'm not in Johnston anymore, my wife and I did move to Johnston, but even though we're not in Johnston, the shop's not in Johnston, I was at the local store. I was just walking around and a nice lady recognized me from my time in Johnston. So getting your name out there, being a part of the community, being a part of the fabric of that community, wherever you are, I definitely think is very important. So you are a foundational pillar in that community. Number 8, online presence. Will you have an online store in addition to your brick and mortar shop? How will you integrate both platforms? Me personally, I do not. I have some dollar cards on eBay. I did have some sealed product on the shop's website until we had that whole scam situation, but I do think online is definitely a very powerful additional presence for you to have. I don't think it should be your main business. If you want just to have an online store and be an online retailer, that's pretty much eBay. I mean, of course, you can build like a website, but then you're facing so much competition. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I don't. It's just there's so much competition online. I could sell a blaster box that just came out for $24.99 or $29.99, whatever retail is on it, and someone's going to be selling it for $2, $3 less just to undercut everybody, just to make $1 or $2 off of the sale. But you do that over and over and over, sure, it's profitable, but it's just, it's such a pain in the butt. Again, there's just so much competition, but to have an online presence outside of social media, such as an eBay or a website like murphscartown.com, where it's informational, I think is very important, and I think probably mandatory, honestly. But yeah, I've thought about it. I have. I'll admit it. I have thought about putting booster boxes and blaster boxes. I'm just trying to look at the inventory over here. Mega boxes and such online. It's just, I don't know. Again, there's so much competition. And I think for people that are starting out who want to do the whole e-commerce thing, eBay, whatnot, Drip, those platforms I think are great. Of course, you can sell stuff on Facebook as well. But ultimately, none of that really appeals to me. I just don't feel the need. Do I not want to do it because of the work? Maybe. But I think I'm doing so much already that I don't need to, or at least I don't feel the need to, at least yet. But it's definitely something for new businesses, new shops to consider. I'm not saying that you shouldn't at all. Number 9, customer service. What kind of customer service experience do you want to provide? How will you handle questions and concerns from customers? I want to deliver the best customer service possible. Even if someone buys something or doesn't buy something, this is my policy, is people are coming out of their way. I've said this so many times. People are coming out of their way, sitting in traffic, driving, spending time in their busy schedule to come to Murph's Cartown. They're walking in the door with the idea, or the majority of people, with the idea of wanting to buy something. The least I can do is say, hi, how are you? How is your day? What do you collect? How'd you find, just spark a conversation, get to know them. Anyone that's been to the shop, whether you're new or you're an older customer, you know this. Even the experienced customers or the people that have been coming to the shop for a couple years now, they all know that every time they walk in the door, I'm going to greet them with a, hey, hi, how are you? How's your weekend? How's your day? What's new? It's just common courtesy is so oftentimes forgotten. And I've talked about this with Ricky on Hobby Talk. I've talked to people here at the shop. I've talked in other videos about this concept as well here on YouTube. Having common courtesy, common mannerisms should not be rocket science. However, it is almost a thing that's been forgotten about in a way, and it's very, very unfortunate. Like, I'm not in a mall where you and whoever, you're walking to JCPenney, you're walking to Macy's, walking to the food court, and you're like, oh, look, a card shop. Well, let's just walk in. That's not Murph's Cartown. Cool. It would definitely be cool to be in a mall. I think that would be kind of a fun atmosphere and an environment. But I like my standalone, freestanding business. But maybe Murph's Cartown will grow and evolve and expand and have a second location. Who knows? But anyways, crap, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, but people aren't just at the mall. And they can just, card shop, just walk right in. They have to come out of their way, sit in traffic, drive, take time out of their busy schedule, things like I mentioned, with the idea of wanting to buy something. Again, the least I can do is say, hi, how are you? And I think that level of customer service is one of many things that separates me from other shops. And I think if you have that same approach as someone running your own shop or looking to run your own shop, if you have that same approach, you will make an impact on that customer, whether they buy something or not. you will make an impact. I hear so many times that people walk into the shop saying, oh, how that other shop was rude, how that other shop didn't talk to me. They just said, let me know if you need anything, and not another word since. And listen, if people don't want to talk to me after I said, hi, how are you? What are you looking for? Blah, blah, blah. I'll get the hint. I'll stop talking. I'll just say, hey, if you need anything, just let me know. After I try to initiate conversation. And you know what? Some people just don't like to talk, and that's okay. When I'm out and about in public, not at the shop, I just kind of want to be left alone too sometimes. It's okay, but you got to at least try. And I think that's very, very important when it comes to customer service. You don't want to be that shop that's rude or that comes off as not caring. You need to be the shop that cares about their customers. Again, whether they buy something or not. How will you handle questions and concerns from customers? Transparency, I think, is the absolute best policy when it comes to giving customers information. You don't want to lie to them. You don't want to cheat them. You don't want to scam them. You want to be upfront, transparent, straightforward, honest, whatever word you want to call it. If you don't know, I don't know. I'm not sure. Transparency is the best policy. I promise you guys that. And for anyone that's listening and that knows me and knows how I like to deal and work, I'm very transparent. I will tell you, I priced this card at $100, even though the last one's $85, for this reason or for that reason, or because that $85 comp wasn't there at the time, but I did price it based off of this $98 comp. Again, you just need to be straightforward with people. And if people aren't jackasses, then they'll understand why you're $15 over on something, because at least you're straightforward. You have proof and evidence on why you're where you're at, and they'll understand, or at least they should understand. But it's that simple. Again, common mannerisms, common courtesy, not that hard, but for some people it's rocket science. But for the good people, the good, meaningful, and appreciative and supportive and nice people, whatever adjective, however many adjectives we could think of, they'll understand. They will understand. And I'm thinking of, just off the top of my head, 10 people that I've dealt with that are nice people, that understand me. I understand them. And I think you guys, if you're watching this and you think that that's you, it probably is you, because you're a nice person. And I thoroughly enjoy working with nice people. Get the best deals, honestly, and you get the best experiences. Like, why be rude? Why be a jackass? Why be mean in this hobby? Like, what's that going to get you? I've seen so many people come out of this hobby because things didn't go their way, or that they were rude and it backfired, whatever it may be. But number 10, last and final question, challenges. What do you foresee as the biggest challenge in running your shop, and how do you plan to overcome them? I think number one is probably the economy right now here in the United States. Obviously, this is not going to be a political conversation, but for those that are into politics, or for those that understand the economy, it's not well right now. It's not good. A lot of people don't have expendable income, and I understand that. That's why I try to offer fair, reasonable prices, good prices, MSRP prices. I'm not trying to price gouge or jack the prices on things. I want people to come in here, buy what they want, buy what they can afford, and leave a happy customer. Have a good time, have a good experience. Go tell their friends, word of mouth. Maybe make a social media post and tag me. And I think that it should be the priority, not price gouging, making an extra couple dollars off of people. You want to treat your customers good. You want to treat them right. So I think the economy is one challenge, but the second challenge is, of course, going to be online. People can find things cheaper online if they really look hard enough. You might be able to find a hobby box for $10 cheaper, whether it's on eBay or an online retailer. And I like to say, well, after taxes, after shipping, after waiting, processing, hoping you get the product, is it really worth the $10 extra to spend here at the shop when I'm pretty much the same price as Panini? But again, online retailers want to cut everybody, or people online just want to try to be the cheapest and offer the most bottom barrel dollar pricing. Fine, go ahead. But again, transparent, honest. I'll tell you how I got the prices. I'll tell you why I'm at where I'm at, what I can do, what I can't do. So definitely the economy right now, maybe it gets better over time, but definitely online, which is always going to be a challenge as long as eBay, Amazon, and the internet exist, honestly. But that was 10 questions from ChatGPT about running a brick and mortar card shop. I really, really enjoyed this, and hopefully this long video was very beneficial, very informative, and very helpful in numerous ways. Hopefully at least one, but hopefully numerous ways as well. I really hope you enjoyed this style of video. If you guys want to see more videos like this, maybe ChatGPT asking me more questions, let me know down in the comment section. Smash the thumbs up button. Of course, hit the subscribe button, guys. It is free to you and it means so much to me. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, then I've queued up an excellent video right here for you that I do believe is going to be excellent for your hobby endeavors. Hopefully, I'll see you in that one.